Squad, deploy for part 7.
Welcome to
Already as always.
Gears of War.
Okay, so, I got some more on the good news, bad news for you guys.
What's the bad news?
Oh, did the character has a gun?
We've run out of food.
Who's Dwebs? Did you rifle for our rations again?
No, them bat creatures ate them. I got good news.
Okay.
A lot of our more, since a lot of our more club members of the group were sadly killed in action, we got some dinner tonight.
Ew.
But Joe, we've run out of food. What else would you?
With the old man's fucking heat.
Joe, we've run out of food. What else do you want to do?
Is that Jim Cummings voicing game?
Who knows?
Probably.
I don't-
Additional voice actor.
I'm gonna check.
I guess that's your answer for how the old guy has survived all this time.
Joe, I don't like it either. What other choice do we have?
We could use it
Like you
as
said,
bait for some action.
eating the locals may be an option.
Yeah, that.
Well, what? Well, oh, look, I found.
Oh shit.
What?
Okay,
I
Boomer.
found a year's supply of sweet corn.
Boomer will not live.
Oh.
Sweet corn, huh? How good
Old
is that?
Man's
for
Stranded,
survival?
I think it's this one. It's Robin Atkin also, potentially.
Huh? What? Robin Atkinson in an action game.
That actually makes sense. Predator Shuri also showed up in the credits. So yeah, he's also one of. He's probably the
Again, this is a case where there are only a select group of voice actors, and each of them has like multiple roles stretched across the game.
Control, we've got the vehicle. We're heading back to pick up the rest of the squad.
Hurry, Marcus. Locust and Kryll have launched a full-scale attack on their position.
Because of course they did.
Okay. That just puts a dent into things, doesn't it?
Dom, let's go.
Not sure it's a good idea, Dom.
Drones, up there. Damn it, get in.
Here we go again.
Oh, it's surprisingly agile.
Well, yeah.
There we go. Kind of reminds me of the bat tank.
Okay, for being like a cutscene, arcade's being reworked, but those explosion effects actually look cool.
Remember too, the cutscenes were the
Yeah, like you said, we were remade, so yeah.
So the Junker is basically a very basic control type of vehicle. You can see these types of games. Oh, there you go. See, there's a control right there. Very basic, typical stuff. Like there's nothing particularly new about it. The only major thing is it has a little light thing just in case the Kryll show up. And that bar on the top is of course the light bar.
Hang on a minute. I got something I just realised.
Also physics.
Squidzy?
It's an army game, and we're in an army vehicle. Where's the self-destruct button?
What moron would put a self-destruct button?
No, I mean in case the vehicle is about to fall into the hands of the enemy.
Well, wouldn't that make more sense to have it be activated via remote control then?
Yeah, I mean, unless it's a suicide mission.
No, I got it. The enemy might not be able to read their self-destruct. They'll probably think it's a boost gun.
That sounds like a Batman gambit.
Yeah.
Well, Jova, do you know the reason why Batman gambits became popular?
Because they often worked, yeah.
Yeah,
without this section, sometimes Dom will warn that Kryll are coming, so you have to stop and make sure you use the light so that to kill the Kryll. So basically, make sure you kill all the Kryll. When you do kill all the Kryll, eventually, I don't want to borrow your glasses. Eventually, when you do kill all the Kryll, yeah, there we go. See, Dom will say something like, "Let's move." That's your cue that you've killed them all, so you can continue.
It's kind of funny that they named a species of flying.
See, the game can subtly cue into things. See, it can do it. Just you can't do it consistently throughout it.
I think the problem is essentially we have a... This game was made in like...
2006.
We have a 2006 game brought to us in 2016 without quality of... What?
2015.
2015 9 years later without any quality of life improvements, like...
The 2016 one was Gears of War 4.
Like, you know, yeah, a remaster or remake that doesn't have changes over that amount of time, unless it's something like... Well, actually, no. Even with Street Fighter 2, that needed to have quality of life changes for like the 16 times that
I
Capcom
already
has
mentioned
released
to you
that.
all of the different of the new releases of Street Fighter 2 they're essentially the equivalent of today balanced patches. So each
Yeah.
version of them had something drastically different. Like
Oh,
for
yeah.
example, the skip framing, the motion duration, the damage input, stuff
That's
like
why I retracted my statement. It's like when I realized that, yeah, pretty much every version of Street Fighter 2 does have a more...
I mean, yeah, again, you're re-releasing quote unquote the same game. They were still making sure that there was something new added to it. Mind you, the caveat in that was that it would have probably not been still the quote unquote the definitive edition to play it, but it will still have been a reason to have it instead of the original.
The amazing thing is that they're still doing it to this day in this generation.
I actually really like the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, which has all the arcade, all the classic pre-Street Fighter 4 arcade games in one package. It's a really good pack. It has all the versions of Street Fighter 2, all the versions of 1, and all the versions of 3.
And apparently the most up-to-date now new version of Street Fighter 2 is... Forget about Street Fighter 2 Turbo or...
Ultra.
Alright, Ultra Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Ultra, it's like Super Street Fighter 2 HD Turbo Remix, something like that.
No,
the
most updated version of Street Fighter 2 is the Ultra one that came out for the Switch.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Although
Because
that one also has, that's the thing too. If you check the Digital Foundry analysis, you'll notice that it's actually a port of the PS3 360.
True, but it does have still a different rebalance and two new characters, quote unquote.
True. My guess, Jova, is the reason this remaster slash or remixter, as Graves calls it, was a bit, done in a very cheap and quick way was because the Coalition was also making Gears of War 4 at the same time, so they couldn't afford to put as many resources in this one because they wanted to focus primarily on Gears of War 4.
It really is a shame, honestly, because this definitely does look like a very good remaster, as we're calling it.
Again, I think it would have been way better if they have just outsourced this remaster to a different developer so that Coalition could focus entirely on Gears of War 4. And whoever was that other outsourced developer would be able to entirely focus on making an overall more polished. Again, I don't understand why get the Coalition to re-release it themselves.
Or counterpoint, even better, have Coalition just make a full-on remake, and then Gears of War 4 could have never have existed. Apparently, a lot of fans would have liked that one.
And remember, Joe, this was back when the Gears of War brand actually had power, so it made sense to make more.
I mean, that's part of the problem with Microsoft. They don't necessarily kill stuff, but they weaken it badly. Like, look at stuff like Rare and how they weakened that thing to its knees. And now look at Gears of War. Once a proud IP, now a shell of itself.
Gears 5 came out with little to no competition. And
Pedro, what about the Gears of Funko Pop game?
Oh.
Well, again, that's the
that was actually
so
better than Gears of War 5.
I still don't understand what's the logic behind it.
Well, that's the thing too. Some Gears fans don't particularly care much. See, here's the thing: if that game, if the main games had remained good, that spin-off would have been fine. The problem too is that a lot of Gears of War fans, veterans specifically, do not like that Funko Pop spin-off because combined with the fact that the main games have, let's face it, has gone downhill, it creates this extra detail.
No, I know that. Again, I'm questioning instead why I'm applying that to Gears of all things for a franchise.
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay. God of War 4, there are God of War 4 Funko dolls things or whatever.
But an actual video game, though, that's...
Yeah, but there is no video games of that. Okay, if you want to, there's also Funko dolls for other gritty and adult fun. That's not the issue. The issue is that Microsoft decided for some reason to dedicate an entire spin-off to those things, and it's just weird.
There, it's Marcus. We have the junker. Do you copy?
last stand.
We're almost there.
What could possibly go wrong?
Alright, so unlike with Act 1, Act 2 doesn't end with a boss battle, it actually ends with a huge
Let's do this.
amount of enemies that we have to kill.
Oh,
Oh,
horde mode,
variety.
essentially.
As the chapter very well states, it's the last stand of this particular settlement,
Outpost.
so let's try and see if we can help out.
But no, what I was saying is, for example, Sony had the sort of ideal way to do it by having costumes based on their other IPs in stuff like Everybody's Golf or A Little Big Planet.
Now, costumes, that works, but the problem with the Funko Pop thing is like, okay, let's pretend that Gears of War wasn't going down the toilet right now. Even if that were the case,
Wow, the score
people
is
don't really
trying a
like
lot.
Funko Pop to the point where they're demanding for Funko Pop spin-off things. In fact, if anything, people more so ridicule Funko Pop rather than actually like it.
Okay, I forgot your name already, but composer, you're not John Williams, just throwing it out there.
He
Oh,
does
no, wait,
sound like he's going.
oh, trust me, Teo. It's the sequels that try to go for a more bombastic, sweeping style.
I mean, I like it, but it's kind of everybody is trying just a bit too hard.
I think the thing is this will fit a lot better in the sequels because the sequels have a more emotionally involving story. But maybe in this one, probably they should have stuck with a more action-packed score rather than a sweeping score.
Okay, so what have I missed?
Basically, Jibs, it's our last stand.
Our last stand from the Locust.
Okay.
Oh jeez.
Do atomic bombs still exist?
That's it.
The closest we got were
Jibs,
stuff
I'm
like
sorry,
lasers, but-
I'm sorry, Jibs, but we're not using Plan F just yet.
What?
To continue one point that that Joel made, yeah, and it's just really interesting about Halo 5's multiplayer thing because Gears 5 allows you to play through the campaign with up to 3 players with split screen, and the game drops from 60 to 30 when you do it. That's fine. I just don't understand why. There you go, 343. That's what you could have done.
Well, maybe that's what considering the it was released years later, it's probably like an answer to that complaint, that kind of sense.
You know what I want to chalk?
Probably.
You know what I chalk it up to? I chalk it up to Halo 5 trying to chase the stupid trend of, yes, let's focus just on how good we can make things look like they're running, and nothing else.
I just kind of love this kind of mentality that game companies. Some of them are still having, mind you, so it's not like I think that it's over yet. But for the past couple of years, these game companies had this mentality that the future of gaming was ideally a person sitting on his ass alone in a room, and that it wasn't even playing a lot on a console, but most of the time instead on his smartphone. Because the ideal marketing was make the console games, avoid single player, and avoid the couch co-op, only focus on multiplayer, where we can sell a subscription and some perks and stuff like that as DLC, and instead focus on mobile titles, which with simple mechanics, gacha elements, and other microtransactions overall. Again, it's baffling. This kind of mentality in general, and games like God of War instead kick those thoughts in the ass and possibly even in the crotch, by making. But not even that. Even EA itself showed that with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
That has got to be the ultimate irony. EA proving their own argument wrong.
Is worthy like that.
You see, EA single-player experiences do work out for you. Now,
And hey, at least it makes the future of Respawn Entertainment a bit more bright, I suppose.
Now maybe they'll hopefully just get the memo and let Respawn do their thing without running them into the ground. We're good to go.
Anyway, yes, Pedro?
I still don't understand this idea that Stadia and xCloud are trying to sell this stuff.
Well, yeah, the future is not a box.
Yes.
Whatever the hell.
Not even just that, Teo. But like this whole idea of playing these big these big games like Gears or Forza or whatever on a smartphone because according to them, trying to reach 2 billion gamers and stuff. Let's try that again.
Whoops.
See, the thing is, I wasn't in. See, the thing is, I was trying to get into there, but the boomers ahead of me. But anyway, again, see, trying to reach 2 billion gamers. None of the people who play on mobile gamers play games like Candy Crush and in other freemium games. They're not going to pay a subscription to play fucking Forza or Gears in their smartphone. Like they're used to playing free-to-play games. Like it doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Not even that.
My mom loves playing mobile games on her Android. There's no fucking way I'll be able to convince her to subscribe to either Stadia or xCloud so she can play Assassin's Creed on her Android. It doesn't make any sense.
You know, it's like game companies can't seem to get it through their noggins here. Guys, what works on mobile necessarily will not work on console, and especially vice versa.
Hey, to rescue them.
Press to skip. By the way.
So how was the food?
It was mediocre. 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. This
Oh,
is the
come
worst
on, we were
apocalypse
enjoying
I've
this
been
thing.
through.
I rate this up.
Did you understand? The loading screen just told me that thing about the riddle that you were reading. Too bad it only lasted like half a second. I could barely read it.
Yeah, maybe the original release it was actually long enough for you to read it.
I guess
All the irony.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? It's like, well, the loading times probably took longer back then, but now they don't take as long.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, great.
Okay, Delta. Looks like we're walking. Are you kidding me?
The great.
Shut up. You gotta get your...
down.
Shut up. You gotta get your exercise somehow.
Control. This is Delta Squad. Our vehicle is DOA. We're now on foot. Please advise.
Have fun walking.
Copy that, Delta. The pumping station lift is offline, so you need to enter the mines through the factory. Continue down this road.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Anya.
I hope this sat nav doesn't lead us into a river.
Why?
Stupid junker.
Because sat navs have been known to do that on occasion.
It can fix anything, man. You just need the right parts.
Okay.
All right then. Well, unfortunately, no. We will take quite a while before we can fix the junker, which means we are indeed going to have to go for the pumping station. So tune in for that.
That's
See
all.
ya.